Hello, citizen. Welcome to Titanium Training LLC. Now, let's talk about the things we're going to do today. The excitement, the thrills, the spills and chills. We're gonna do awesome stuff today. All right, since we're all ready to be awesome, let's be awesome. So, what you guys have going on today, as you can see on the top right-hand corner of the board, it is 7 exercises, 7 rounds, 7 reps each your total, depending on the exercise, and I tried my best to write it out next to the exercise, whether it was each your total. If I went too fast, in the description with this video and every other video that we've done, there is actually a description of what the workout looks like, so you don't have to go to Facebook or anywhere else. Just like I said, look underneath the YouTube video, you'll see underneath here in the description what the actual workout is, so you know what I'm talking about. So, what you guys have going on today is, like I said, 7 exercises, 7 rounds, 7 reps. It's one of my favorite ones to continue to go back to, because honestly, going back to it from time to time, you can see how much stronger you've gotten, you can see how much better you've gotten through the course of exercise, and as many times as we've done these things. So, with that, actually that's pretty much the simple premise of it. You can see here, and then, like I said, in the description in the video, which ones are each and which ones are total. And then, really, that's pretty much your protocol for today. The idea is try to go as heavy as you can because it's only 7 reps. Yes, it's 7 rounds, so it's a lot of volume, but I still, because this being the last strength aspect or resistance aspect of the day, the goal is to go with as much resistance as you can. That's what we'll start calling it. We're not going to call it strength, we're just going to call it resistance because it's easier for me. So, and who's not trying to do this for me? I mean, I'm just saying. Anyway. That's the description, that's your protocol. Let's talk about the exercise. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. The show of shows. The show where I tell you how everything works. Are you ready? We got 7 exercises and several different versions of each, so let's get into it. So, let me step back, let me step back, let me step back, let me step back, so you can at least see my knees, my knees, my knees, my knees. Okay, so, now, what we have going on today is, like I said, we have 7 exercises. The first of 7 is the slow motion push-up. So what you're doing with the slow motion push-up, this is both slow down and slow back up. I'm honestly going to be lazy and not go to the ground for this exercise. I'm just going to be lazy. So you can do this on your knees or your toes. Either one of those is fine. Because honestly, I even sometimes do them on my knees as well, especially as we get into like a higher volume, only because of the fact that my form starts to break down, and it's really just a smarter thing to do, and it prevents damage on your shoulders, back, and things like that long term. So what you're going to do is just keeping your hands like in a normal push-up position. Let me turn to the side here. And then you're just going to slow down, like for a count of 3 or 4, and then you're going to slow back up for a count of 3 or 4. And as always, when it comes to the different positioning of these exercises, the one thing I usually say is, the higher you put your hands on something, the more elevated your body becomes, and then it thus helps out your shoulders and things like that in the future. So you, like I say, you can do it on your knees or on your toes on the floor, or you can put your hands on a bench, as you can see here. I'm going to point to it like a weatherman pointing like that. You can use a bench or a couch or a chair or anything like that. Like I said, the most important thing is just slow motion back, squeezing your chest and your triceps. Slow down, and then slow motion back up for 7. Once you're done with the 7 of those, then we move on to the next thing, which is the single arm kettlebell swing. This is not like the hand-to-hand swing. This is completely different. The idea is to do just one side at a time. Let me get an implement real fast and I'll show you how that works. So, what you have is you have a kettlebell. The idea is having the kettlebell starting out in front of you. What you're going to, here, let's move this over here so you can see it. So you can see it. Okay, so now that I think you can see it, I think you can probably see it. So, what you're going to do is you're going to push your hips backwards, squeeze your butt, one hand at a time, here, hook. 7 on one side, and then you stop, switch it out, 7 on the other side. Like I said, this is not an alternating, it's not a hand-to-hand. You're gonna do 7, and then 7, That's how that one works. If it's too much to do that, that's okay. You can do suitcase deadlifts. You're still using just one side at a time. So with that, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to do both legs at the same time, which is why I'm not telling you to do the single leg deadlift. What I'm telling you is I'm telling you suitcase deadlift, because all you're doing is you're just putting the weight on one side at a time, which forces your core to work twice as hard. So you're just going to suitcase deadlift and back down. 7 on one side, then you switch it out, 7 on the other side. Now, once you're done with that, bang, 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 bang. The next thing you have is a lying YW. Now, if you've noticed through the course of the series of the exercise protocol that we've done this week, the lying YW has come up a lot, or it's come up a handful more times than normal. What I'm trying to do is help you with scapular retraction and depression. That's what I'm trying to help with in order to help you draw your shoulders back and also push them down. Okay? This also helps provide better posture and actually much more deltoid activation and a whole lot less of that forward rolling when we're like talking or sitting or things like that over long periods of time. So with the lying YW, you're lying flat on your stomach, on the ground. Then you're here. So you start here, lifting your hands up, and then you pull your shoulder blades back and down. And then up, back, and down, and then up. And you're going to do 7 of those. Now, if it's too hard to get down on the ground, here's what you do. What you do is just turn, face the wall, and then keep your hands up and away from the wall and do the same thing. So, like say the wall's here, you just press up against the wall, and then just keep your elbows back and down while you're facing the wall. There you go. So if you can't get on the ground, do it like that. The next exercise is the skater. Moving back, and I'm not going to hit the kettlebell today. So with the skater, it's step to the side, slide the leg back, step to the side, slide the leg back, back and forth, 7 on each side. Too much to skate? Hurts here too much? That's okay. Lateral stepping, lateral stepping. Perfect! You're doing awesome. Thanks for coming. The next thing you have like that is not like that. Is this not like that? Why am I here? So the next exercise you guys have is a plank with a toe touch. So what you're going to be doing is getting into the plank position. And then while in the plank position with your elbows down like this, like I said, do not do this standing up. I'm just being lazy. That's what this is. So what you're going to do is you're going to just touch the foot out. Let me move over here so you can see. So I'm just going to touch and then touch while in the plank. Don't be lazy. Show them actually how that looks. So what you're doing, I'm going to show you, I'm going to point that way so you can see. So what you're doing is you're here, okay, in the plank position, and then you just touch out, touch out, touch out, touch out, 7 on each side. If that's too much to do from your elbows, you can always get up onto your hands. And if it's too much to just do it on the ground, you can always do it from a bench. Honestly, just put your hands on a bench in the push-up position, squeeze your stomach, and do the same thing. Just touch the foot out, 7 on each side. Next exercise, tactical lunges. Here's what you guys got going on here. So, with a tactical lunge, you're just going to grab yourself an implement. Today, I'm using the kettlebell. What you're going to do is hand with the weight, you're going to step back, squat down, and then the idea is to take the kettlebell underneath the front leg and then stand back up. Switch it out, kettlebell underneath the front leg, and then stand back up. You're going to do 7 on each side. If you cannot do that, like it's just too hard on your back, on your knees, on your hips, that's okay. Drop the weight and then just alternating reverse lunge. Honestly speaking, just drop the weight all together. I'd rather you go through the motion of the exercise than risk damaging anything permanently, honestly. And then we go from there. Last exercise. Yep, and honestly, I'm just going to tell you now, there's no finisher today because I thought with us going as heavy as we possibly can, that's pretty much enough. Or if you just feel like you need to take a walk, that can be your finisher for the day. You can walk or jump rope, find some time to do it, that's cool, but I'm not prescribing it today. So the last thing you guys have is the windmill. I'm going to show you without weight because the idea with this exercise, honestly, for me personally, is just go through the mobility of the exercise. Now, if you want to add weight just to increase performance and strength through the movement, that's awesome too. So what you're doing is you're going to start feet between hip and shoulder width apart. This is probably honestly the most important part of it. And then what you're going to do, because the idea is you don't want your feet this close when you're trying to do it. You want them to have a little bit of distance apart when you start. And then what you're going to do from here is you're going to turn both feet as much as you can to one side. So for me, as you can see here, for me it's on the right. So then what I do from here is I push my hip backwards, keeping my chest forward, and then I bend at the hip, and then I stand back up. So I bend at the hip, hand down, and stand back up. I do 7 on one side or 7 on the other. If you do decide to add weight to this exercise, it's always the hand that's going towards the ground. That's where you want to add your weight. For the advancement of that one, like I said, you can always put your hand in the top hand where the weight is against you as you're going down. But like I said, we don't have to do that. That's okay. That's a little bit too much sometimes. Let's not go there. Let's just focus on going through the stretch and the mobility of the exercise, because honestly, that's just as important as using weights in general. So those are your 7 exercises. That's 7 rounds worth of work. Each exercise, like I said, it's either each or total depending on the exercise. If you look in the description, it'll tell you which one it is. And then from there, that's it. If you want to do a finisher, you can always go back to the other videos on this YouTube channel and find a fun finisher if you want to do that. Or, like I said, please feel free to not do a finisher today. That's okay. That's not a big deal. Sometimes you can just take that off. If you use heavy enough weight, this is plenty of exercise. It really is. So, I'm Brian. This is Titanium Training LLC. I am thanking you, as always, for providing me enough of the opportunity and time to be able to do this. I know this is lots of time in your life that you're never going to get back, and listen, I'm okay with that. I love you guys. I appreciate everything you do for us. This is why I do everything I can for you. This is big love, much love, hugs and kisses and social distance, all fun stuff. Have a nice day.